time for a Honda tip. Let's get to it. Working on this 10th generation Honda Accord, and I figured I'd bring you along for a quick tip on these 1.5 liter turbo engines. Alright, if we look at service data for changing the oil on these Accords, and this would be 2018 to 2022 Accords with a 1.5 liter engine, add oil change including filter, 3.5 liters or 3.7 US quarts. If we look at this jug right here, of course it's empty. This is the amount that I put in right now. We changed the oil and filter, and I put 3.5 liters or 3.7 US quarts. So let's go to the vehicle and check it. Now I've already run the engine. It's been sitting for, I don't know, at least 20 minutes. So all the oil has settled back down into the bottom of the oil pan. So our level check right now should be accurate. And hopefully you can see it's about right there. It might be the tiniest bit below that top mark, but it's basically right there at the top mark. So we know that our oil level is full, and of course I told you I put 3.7 US quarts in here, so that's our correct spec. So there's the correct amount of oil is in here, which is 3.7 US quarts. So why am I telling you all this? Because this is the oil that came out of the vehicle. Of course we know that our spec is 3.7 US quarts, which will be right here, but this is actually how much I took out. And if we look at the difference, it's about 1 3/4 or almost 2 quarts. Not quite 2 quarts, just a little bit less, but pretty close to 2 quarts of oil too much. And of course, I mean, that's not good for our engine. So what is all that extra fluid? Well, the remaining oil in there, well, it's not oil, but the remaining fluid in there, because these are turbo direct injection engines, it's fuel. These things inject fuel into those cylinders at a very high pressure. The fuel gets past the piston rings, gets into the oil, and you end up with basically diluted oil and too much oil. And of course, running this engine, the small engine, 1.5 liters, with almost 2 quarts too much oil is not good for the engine. And I should mention those extra almost 2 quarts of fuel that are now inside your engine, not a very good lubricant for that engine. Now the owner of this vehicle waited till the maintenance minder told him at 15% to change the oil, and then he brought it to me and I changed the oil, and that's when I discovered this. And so what's the moral of the story? What's my tip? Don't wait till the maintenance minder on these tell you to change the oil. I would do it at closer to 50%, or at the very least you need to check it all the time, and if you start seeing that oil level start to creep up, then it's time to change it. Alright, a little bit of bonus footage. Let's check the oil on this 1.5 liter turbo. This one happens to be a CRV, not an Accord, but basically the same engine. And well, hopefully you can tell. It looks like our level's about right there, and it should be down here. So this one's definitely suffering from oil dilution also. The oil has been changed on this CRV, so it's good to go now. So we'll just do a final check. This 1.5 liter engine also takes 3.7 quarts, just like that Accord. And hopefully you can see it. We're right there at the top mark, maybe just a hair below, but that's fine. If you're curious, the maintenance minder on this vehicle was at 30%. I'll show you how much oil came out of this one. This is the oil that came out of that CRV. Of course, this is where it should be. And hopefully you can see where the light is. That's where it is. So quick math tells me that's a little over a quart too high. So we got another 1.5 liter turbo with oil dilution. So what's the takeaway on this one? Well, if you have a 1.5 liter Honda turbo engine, you're going to want to check that oil all the time, and you're probably going to be changing that oil more often than if it was a normal circumstance. So in any event, if this video helped you out, you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.